Escape to Gaming. Today is a simple video response to Dave over at Lawnboyspost1975. Before I went to bed last night, I saw he had just posted a video of the top 10 modern things that he hates about life today. These modern times, or pet peeves, if you will. I seldom get into negative issues in life anymore. I used to, for most of the 50 years that I've been on the planet, I used to find fault and wonder, why is it like this? Why can't it be more like this? You can drive yourself to neurotic extremes, wishing the world were different than it is. So after years of struggling to fathom, why is it like this? I've just kind of learned that it's just the human condition. I mean, you take a risk every time you go outside the front door. You just don't know what you're in for. You never know what crazy chaos that could easily befall you. You're dealing with a lot of people around you that each have their own rule book as to how they want to live their life out and run their life, or the consideration or the lack of. So it's an interesting gambit. Or like I said, you put your life in your hands just walking out the front door. When I pull out of my garage, I mean, for the day, you just never know. And I've had some interesting things recently. But anyway, I have a list of my own. I try to keep it down to 10. I've got 16 items here. Again, these are not things that I focus on. I believe that whatever you focus on expands into reality, but these are subconscious pet peeves that years ago, these things would have bothered me a lot more than they actually do now. I tend to just kind of cope with them now, but in the spirit of Dave's post, I wanted to do a video response on this because it really, some of these, and I started off with a few of them that bothered him. The self-checkout deals. Ironically, just 2 days ago, we have a Home Depot here in the United States. It's a big, do-it-yourself building center, hardware store. You can get lumber, pick up items, you can get painting things. So I get a lot of my painting supplies here because they are cheap. Great selection, wonderful people there. It's a giant store that offers everything. If you want to remodel, put in new windows and showers and doors and everything in your house, they can do it. The problem is they just don't have any checkers. They'll have this enormous store. It's enormous with thousands, or I don't know, thousands, but lots of employees, and there's 1 or 2 checkers open. They'll have 4 to 6 of these do-it-yourself checkout things, and every time, I hate them. I'd rather wait in a line for 20 minutes and have a human being serve me than to go through there and it never ends. There's always one skew thing that'll get scanned. It doesn't register. They got to get a person over there to scope it out. Or the other day, I happened to have cash. I usually pay with an ATM card, but I had cash this time, and I was having a problem with it accepting all of my bills. It's like, come on, I just want to get out of here. Is it too much to ask to just get your items, get the hell out of the store? So I share Dave's frustration with that. I'm not a big fan of them. Sometimes it pays off. There'll be long lines, and if you only have 1 or 2 items and it's painless and you have an ATM card, it's not the end of the world. You can get through, and quite often it works, but I've had 40% of the time where it guaranteed there'll be some screw up, and then you got to sit and wait for a human anyway. So they should have had a human in the first place, like Dave suggested. 2 is cold callers. Now, I have my own business, and I run an ad on what they have Craigslist here in the United States, and you get people looking for painters or handymen. It's a great way to advertise your business. But what you also get are cold callers. So 70% of the calls, and I'm in the middle, I'm on a 32-foot ladder up, risking my life, trying to make a living so I can come home and buy a new damn game and play it. And I'm up on a ladder and the phone rings and I think it could be potential work or customer, and I'm nervously reaching my pocket, risking with holding on with the other hand, and answer my phone only to find out it's someone trying to sell me something. We'd love to design a website for you. Our team, and I'm like, did you even bother to look? I have my own website. I designed it myself. It works great. You know what? Thanks, but no thanks. And I just hang up and I get pissed. I'm at the point now where I immediately cut them off. The minute I hear it's a sale, I'll ask them, is this a sales call? Well, no, we're not selling anything. What we'd like to do is to offer you that. I said, you're selling something. You know what? I'm not interested. Thank you. Click. And that's it. That's it. That's the quick way to deal with those guys. A frustration. Last night, I'm sitting here playing Wolfenstein. I just ate a piece of raw meat. I'm sitting here, with nothing on, literally, with a soda late at night, trying to squeeze it a little bit more Wolfenstein. the sun's going down, and someone comes right up to my door right here and pounds loudly. Now I got to stop what I'm doing, freeze my game, find something to put on, look out there, and it's someone's going door to door selling something. I think it was a political person, pushing for a campaign, and it's just an inconvenience. They don't even pay attention to the fact you've got a sign that says no solicitors. They'll just do it anyway. To me, that's annoying. Back in the old 50s and 60s, that was a way of life, door-to-door salesman. We don't live in that world anymore. It's an interruption into my evening, especially at nighttime. 7:30, 8 at night, and someone's pounding on your door. Luckily, they don't get a shotgun right in the face, but it is what it is. So I usually don't even answer the door now. I'll just ignore it. I just hit the volume, and they'll stay there, and then they'll continue knocking as if like they're irritated that you won't answer the door. But anyway, that's another one. This is one I agree with Dave also. Plugged-in people. I mean, you're in the grocery store, you're at Home Depot or somewhere, or on the street, walking on the sidewalk, and people are plugged in with their iPhones or iTunes. They're in their own world. I mean, irregardless of the pitfalls and dangers around you, To me, I could not relax and listen to my favorite music walking around, not knowing if someone's creeping up behind you, not knowing if you're being stalked, not knowing if you're about to get mugged or robbed. I mean, I've been in some tough parts of New York and LA, and I'm telling you, you don't want to be plugged in some of these cities. But it amazes me the just naiveness of people. And it's a constant frustration. I have a nephew that I love dearly. We have the most wonderful gaming sessions, a wonderful time watching movies, but the whole time he's here, we're watching a movie and I go, hey bud, isn't that a great part? And I look over and he's playing a fucking game on his cell phone. He's plugged in. Or he's got his iPad thing on. He's not paying attention. I'm talking to him. It's a constant irritant. Unplug yourself. Find the time. It's fine. Look, I love the internet too. I refuse to have one of these smartphones. I have an old-fashioned flip phone. It's just a phone. It's just a way to contact my wife after work. It's a way to receive phone calls so I can make a living. That's it. I'm not interested in being plugged into Facebook and Twitter and everything every 5 minutes. I don't care about it. It drives me nuts. One of my modern complaints. So I agree with Dave on that. Plugged-in people drive me nuts. Just unplug the damn thing. If you got someone visiting with you, there's nothing more rude than you're talking to them. You think they're listening, and you look over, and they're in the middle of texting someone. Or they're playing a Candy Crush or some game or something on their phone. It's just absurd. But anyway, don't get me going anymore on that. Dave and I share this one. Slow drivers in the fast lane. Now, in the UK, it's the reverse. I guess you guys drive in the right lanes or the fast lanes. But over here, it's the left lanes. So you get 3 lanes. Now, I don't care. I'll pass on the right. I'll pass on the left. If I see an obstacle, I'm looking past them. I'll get around them somehow. But guaranteed, you'll have someone that knows that they're holding up a mile of people behind you. Usually in a Prius or something like that. They're doing exactly the speed limit, and you can see them looking in the mirror, and they know they're slowing you down. They could easily just put their blinker on, either slow down or speed up, go over and let you through. But no, they like to feel empowered, I suppose, by holding you up. It's a constant source of irritation. I usually have to listen to some very mellow jazz and stuff while I'm driving. I don't listen to a lot of heavy metal anymore because I don't want to get all wound up like Beavis and Butthead behind the wheel, but it drives me nuts. I don't care. I'll pass them on the shoulder. I'll make my own rules when it comes on the road. It's tough in cities like Los Angeles, really congested cities. You have no choice. But most of the freeways here in California, there's plenty of room. There's room. People could just stay to the right. Or you'll be on 2 trucks on the way to Las Vegas. There's two lanes forever. And you got 2 trucks doing exactly 60, 65 miles an hour. They refuse to move. I'll pass them on the shoulder lane sometimes. I don't care. But it drives me crazy. So I definitely validate Dave's frustration with that. That's one that irritates the living hell out of me. I'm better. That's one of the hardest ones that I still to this day have frustration with. But I've just learned I just don't like driving anymore. It's like it's raped the joy right out of it because of just negligent drivers, poor drivers, rude drivers, just disrespectful, self-absorbed people that don't realize. I mean, I have people that want to pass me. I immediately put my blinker on, move over, let them by, let them get the ticket. I'll let them pave the way for me. It works great. So I have no issues with pulling over. I try to practice all these things that complaints have. I try to look at the other person's point of view and be respectful of them. But anyway, that's one of my big complaints. 5 would be crowds. Now, when I moved to LA in particular years ago, I mean, I really would get annoyed with crowds. I'd go to Disneyland. I go, hey, I know, on a Saturday morning, let's go to Disneyland because it's right here. We live literally right next door. I could see the fireworks from Disneyland every night from my apartment where I met my present wife. We'd watch the fireworks every night. It was literally just like 4 or 5 miles away. So it was very close. But you go on a Saturday when it would wake up with the same concept. Even if you got there early, everyone and their brother and their families and people all over the U.S. were hitting Disneyland on a Saturday. Finally, after years of struggling, I mean, I waited in line 3.5 hours to ride the new Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland. It drove me nuts. Hours of lines and crowds and just rude people. And it got to the point to where I just didn't like people anymore and didn't like crowds at all. As I get older, I especially don't like them now. So finally, I figured out what you do is you go to Disneyland on an off season when the kids are back in school, not during the summer, and you go like on a Wednesday or Thursday. Guess what? You get the whole place to yourself. You can go in line. There's 5 people in line instead of, hours in line. You get 10 or 12 minutes. It goes much better. So that's how I deal now with the same thing with malls. We have a lot of big malls here in California that are huge. In fact, one of the largest ones in the state is right over here in Roseville, the Galleria. It's huge. If you wait till the worst time of the day on a Friday or Saturday or something and go there, you're going to have a hard time getting a place to park and dealing with the crowds. But you know what I do now? We'll go on a Saturday, but I'll go there right when they open, 10 o'clock. I got my favorite parking spot, the parking garage in a corner. There's no door dings. I go boom, bing, bang, boom. I'm in and out and beat the crowds. It's a beautiful thing. Same thing with restaurants. Really busy, high-traffic restaurants where the in-crowd goes and has to be there, all the hipsters. I won't do it. I don't like circling looking for a place to drive. I don't like pushing and shoving, waiting for an hour and 15 minutes for a table. I just go in off times and off seasons. That's the way to get around the crowd thing, at least I've found. The next one, 6, is slow people in lines. These are people that you would almost swear are doing it intentionally. People that are just rude. I'll be like in an express lane where you have to have 10 items or less. All I've got is I just want to get some ice cream and get the hell out of there. I'm starving. I just want something to eat. I'll get a simple pizza or something to go at a grocery store. I just want to check out. And there's a guy in front of you buying one lottery ticket after the next, scratching it off right there. You know what? Give me another 5 scratchers. And it's like, oh, for the love of God, please. And the people that take their time, or, you know what, I have these coupons, could you check these for me? Oh, by the way, I have a friend that she wants to buy something, and if she came on a Thursday, would she? I'm like, oh my God, please. It never ceases to amaze me that people are indifferent to the lines behind them. It's all about them and what they want to do right then and there. I had a lady the other day at the grocery store. I would go to the end of an aisle, it was packed. I always let people in. I always let people cut. I'm not going to sit and fight to race someone into the thing. So I let this woman in graciously because I'm still old-fashioned. I open the door for women. I always let ladies go first. And she's, didn't even thank me, which is fine. It is what it is. But then she goes in line and purposely sandbags her whole transaction, stretches it out 3 times longer than it needs to be. I'm like, gee, thanks. This is my reward for letting you in. So slow people in lines can drive you nuts if you let them. The next one is, this is kind of an odd one, but this is a constant irritant. Number 7, using a public toilet. Would it kill you to flush the toilet when you're done so I don't have to look at your detritus and mess? It only takes, I'll use my foot even to do it. I don't like touching public toilets or urinals either, but honest to God, before I even go, I flush. If there's anything, I don't want to see anything, I don't want to see your mess. Have the courtesy to flush a toilet when you're done, instead of expecting the next person in line to do it. Drives me nuts. It almost goes hand in hand with littering. Especially we have a lot of immigrants who will come over to California, come into this country, and that's fine. That's what America was built on, taking in the poor and the huddled masses and helping people that are come from these third world countries who don't have it so good, but they come over here and they just litter. They just throw their trash. They'll eat a big burrito with foil and chips. I'll be painting a job, and they just throw their trash when they're done. Would it kill you to throw it away in a trash can and not litter? It drives me nuts, but that's just me. I like things neat and orderly. I'll actually go out and bring trash bags out when I'm hiking on the weekends and pick trash up just because I can. It's my little part that I, paying for it or whatever, because I like the world cleaner. When I clean outside, I clean up my neighbors in front of their sidewalk and yard too. Any trash, leaves, I just pick them up. Only takes a minute. But that's part of my toilet flushing thing anyway. Number 8 is, and this is a game-related one, but scratched used games. What the fuck are people doing with these games? Are they using them as coasters on their coffee table? Are they grinding them into the sand and gravel and their floor mats in their car? I mean, if I wanted to make a game scratched up, I don't think I could do it more than these people. I'll go to GameStop, which they'll have great deals on used games, but I stopped going there because I'm sick of scratched games. And what I do is I take them home and immediately will try to install them on my Xbox 360. If they won't install within the first 10 minutes, it means it's somewhere along the line that game won't play. So that's the way you can test a game to make sure that it will play, is try to install it first. If it won't install and there's an error code that comes up, the game is no good. How people can fuck up DVDs, CDs, and games is just beyond me. I mean, what are we, subhumans, cavemen? Would it kill you to pick the thing up from the edges? I had record albums for years, not a scratch on them, not even dust. I had a little felt rag, I'd wipe them off, put them on. It's a beautiful thing. It only takes a minute to take care of things. Why people run things into the ground and destroy things. So then when I want to go and buy a used game because I'm trying to save money, I can play it. So I'll go to Dimples, my little retail store, and I'll pay a little bit more for it, but at least every game is polished. They only take in good games to begin with. Occasionally, I've had one game recently, it was Forza 3, that had some little peppered scratches on it, and it wouldn't install. I took it back, no problem. They gave me a brand new Forza 2 for the same price. It's a beautiful thing. So to me, I'll pay more for that. And the same thing with eBay shopping. I'm a fanatic. I'll pay twice as much for the game if it's in mint condition because I don't want to deal with scratches. I'm not paying for that. I'm paying for a game that works. I don't want to risk playing 8 hours into a game and then all of a sudden the game crashes or there's a problem because someone was abusive with the game disc. But that's another story. The next 9, another game-related deal. Constant console updates. Now, I have my PS4, which I'm playing the new Wolfenstein, the New Order on now, and I love it. But perhaps even more so with the PlayStation 3, and even with the Xbox 360, just constant updates. For the love of God, can't you figure this shit out early on? And I can see one a year. But this constant, every time I turn my PlayStation 3 on, I got to sit there for another 45 minutes and update things and allow things to update, shut it off, come back on. It's insane. It drives me nuts. And updates on the computer is the same thing. But the gaming consoles, it rapes the joy right out of playing a game sometimes. When you turn it on and now you got another patch or another problem, which gets on to my next issue that I have, number 10, unfinished games. The first thing that comes to mind is Dead Island, which I pre-ordered early on. 32, I can't remember if it was 32 or 34 day one issues, major issues with the game. So they had to have the first week a patch to address the 34 things that were fucked up. They should have been fixed right from the get-go, but no, the game was jacked up. It amazes me, and then we're just supposed to live with it. Oh, well, don't worry, a patch is coming. Well, what's sad is that the first week that I had the game, and I had the game and received that first patch, I played it, my nephew came over, we took turns all day for like 7 or 8 hours, and loved the game. He goes, Uncle Dean, can I take this game home and play it? I had another new game at the time, Bulletstorm or something. I said, yeah, go ahead, but I'll play this other one. Well, he took it home and he put in like 80 hours, some insane amount of time. Of course, he's not hooked up to the internet. He didn't get the day one patch. I thought the game played fine. He got through the game, collected. Once you get over 109 collectibles, the game, your game save corruption crashes, and you lose everything. He had, 75% of the game done, an insane amount of time in the game, went through every nook and cranny finding collectibles, loved the game. The game crashed. He was heartbroken. I go, Bud, do you have the Xbox Live? No, I don't have it hooked up to the internet. I said, well, you probably didn't get the patch. Sorry, man. And he refuses to play it over. I can't even count how many games have had these patches. There are issues even with Grand Theft Auto 5. They had to have, multiple patches to fix the single-player and multiplayer issues with that. It's unacceptable. Test your fucking games before you sell them to people. Because down the road, we may not have the online capabilities, and I may want to play Dead Island or GTA 5 or something down the road. And if you don't have those patches and everything saved within your hard drive, you're going to be screwed. So finish the games before you publish them. And next one, number 11, this is something I addressed back in 2008, is television. I used to be a TV baby. I grew up in the 60s and 70s watching every Starsky and Hutch and Hogan's Heroes and Star Trek and Miami Vice in the 80s. Miami Vice is one of the last TV shows that I religiously watched and never missed an episode, but and the X-Files too. But I cannot stand TV anymore. I hate commercials. They're okay the first once or twice you see them. Oh, that was a good, movie trailer commercial. I often see that, whatever. But to see it 40 times or 20-something times in a weekend, it's too much. I am sick of television. I've unplugged. I haven't watched TV since 2008. I refuse to have cable TV. We had it for years because my daughter had to have all her favorite shows. We were paying, $100 a month for cable TV that I never used, never watched personally. Once she left, we continued to pay for it for like a couple years because we were signed into a contract. And finally I realized, screw this, we don't watch it. We have Netflix for $20 a month. We can run, 2 movies at a time, and during the week we get live streaming. It's a beautiful thing. $20 a month, I get to see pretty much everything that's out, everything that I want to see. And I like that. I don't have an issue with it. So I'm done. Now, again, my fix for that was I just unplugged from TV. If I want to see a TV show, I just watch the TV show. I'll either do a pay-per-view thing on like The Walking Dead per episode, or I'll just wait and get a box set on DVD. It's a beautiful thing. Um, 12 goes back to gaming. I've mentioned this in 5 or 6 rants. Nitpicking, overly critical, negative reviews. There's just, why? Why deconstruct a film or a game so much that you have to look and search for things honestly to pick it apart? This new Wolfenstein, stopping to pick up ammo or collectibles and actually having to hit a button. God forbid, you have to slow down and inspect your environment. The whole idea of that is so that you're not just running and gunning, scooping up everything as you just run over it. It forces you to think twice. If you go out in the open and pick up all that ammo, you may get shot. So it kind of forces you to be more careful. I see why they did it, and I validate why they did it. But for people to pick a game apart and give it perhaps a lower score, referring to IGN and Colin's review of it, I thought was beyond the pale. It's just overly nitpicking. You'll see this trend with every game that comes out, just ripping it apart. Every game has to hold the standard to some major AAA game, and then if it copies any element of it, oh, it's derivative, they ripped off that game. It's absurd. I like game reviews. I like to watch them. I like to see them before I buy a game, if possible, to see whether it's a good game. And in the games I do like to, out of curiosity, I want to watch the reviews and see them as well. But I'm sick of negative reviews. There's no need for and assigning an actual numeric score for a game or a movie is absurd. It's subjective. One person will play the new Rambo game and thinks it's a fantastic arcade shooter. That's great. Another person hates it, doesn't like it. That's it. That's all you need to know. People can say, I didn't like the controls of it or whatever. And that's fine. We all have our opinions. Not every game is going to be wonderful. Not every film or TV show you see is going to fit that person. Everyone has their likes and dislikes. Some of them are more thematic. Some of them just can't identify with the character that's in that TV role or whatever. And if you don't like the actor, it doesn't matter how great the writing is or directing, you just won't like the show. It's the same thing with games. There'll be games AAA games I don't like. But I wouldn't give them a bad review and then rate them with a number score. I'm just not going to do it. So the negative reviews I could do a lot less with. I just think they're overly critical. And people love to feed on the negativity like parasites. I honestly don't see the attraction. I'm so sick of negative reviews. I've lost and missed out on so many great games for years because I listened to the opinions of what I thought were gaming journalists that were going to be fair and biased or unbiased and give a really honest opinion. Really what it was, they didn't like the game. Maybe they felt pressure to rush. They're in a hurry, so they didn't want to stop and pick up collectibles because they want to blow that game. They got another 3 games waiting to review. So I don't think you're getting a fair shake with those kind of reviews. But anyway, I can go on for 30 minutes on that one. The next one would be number 13, streaming issues. Now, our internet at this particular place isn't bad, but the last house and the house before, my God, I mean, I have a YouTube app on my Xbox 360. I can't even make it through 1 or 2 YouTube videos without it crashing. I got to exit back out, reload the YouTube app. It's insane. My computer is the same thing. So streaming issues, my wife has a TV in the other room when she works out. She has constant streaming issues trying to, we keep upgrading, getting better and better. Wireless modems and things. We put the best computer, do everything we can. But it's only as good as the service that you're given. I've heard it's even worse in other countries like the UK. But yet they want us to play an Xbox One and PlayStation 4 with these heavy server-based, cloud-based games on something that is still in a primitive state. We're not Japan with a killer internet. The internet is just horrid. Even with the greatest internet, supposedly, that we have in Sacramento, and we have it, it still has issues streaming. I have issues every week with streaming. It drives me crazy. I mean, we put a man in the moon, do all this crap and wonderful games and movies and advancements in science, and they still can't fix the streaming thing. And now they got this net neutrality thing, which will really fuck it up. But we'll see what happens with that. 14, Facebook drama and confrontation. I mention this because Facebook is a big part of a lot of our lives. I fit the age bracket that's, the heavy Facebook person. I'm kind of an early adapter to Facebook. I like it. I found many good high school friends. I have family members and things on it. I think it's great for that. But I've actually deleted all of my family members, my parents, my sister, because they love to fuck with you over comments. I'll post something that I like about games, and maybe it's a violent video game, and I gotta get a lecture or a sermon from my own father as to why that's offensive and abusive. I had a friend of mine, I liked one of his game reviews early on, and I shared his video, YouTube video, and I go, man, I love this review, I gotta get this game. And my dad went and commented on it, then went on the video and commented. I don't know who this guy is, but I don't care for this vulgar language and this and that. And this friend of mine wouldn't even talk to me after that. I was so embarrassed. I had to send him a private message apologizing for my old man and his ways. So this kind of offensive nature, people just love to be agitated. Look, I have my own political views, my own religious views, but I don't wear them on my sleeve. No one needs to hear my libertarian ideas on politics. I see plenty, but there's a lot of mudslinging with politics on Facebook. Facebook is not the place for that. It's great for posting, your favorite. I get excited about a new game. I'm going to take a picture of a game, and here's my new Wolfenstein game. I'm really excited, pumped to play this. Here's a great review of Sniper Elite 3. Man, I can't wait to get this one. Or I'll have a picture of a Corvette or a Mustang I want to post on there. To me, that's what Facebook's for. It's for sharing things. And it's for light and fluffy, friendly behavior, not for confrontation and drama. There are people that should not be on social media. My whole family, my sister and my parents, I'm ashamed to say, should not be on public social media. And even some of my friends. I just stay out of it. I see where they're coming from, but I make it to where I don't have to see their posts anymore because I get tired of the barrage of mud. It's just they're overly opinionated, overly confrontational. So that's my thing on Facebook, and it could go the same for Twitter or anything else. Number 15, frankly, is the entitlement that we have of trolls today. I mean, people on the internet have no shame. I've never seen such a lack of respect such people that feel entitled to their opinions and beliefs, and God forbid, if you go against the grain, you'll have death threats, you'll have the most vile comments and replies made on your videos. This kind of goes hand in hand with what I said on Facebook. These people should not be on these social forums, but they are. So you just have to see it for what it is. A lot of them are junior high kids, or maybe even adults that are still acting like junior high kids. And it's unfortunate. This is something that we all have to live with. It is what it is. It's hard to screen these people out. These are the people who will give you a thumbs down on every video just because they can. What's wrong with people? They have to go out of their way to thumbs down a video. At least have the courtesy to let us know why you don't agree, why you don't like the video. I would like to see that. Right? It's kind of cowardly that someone can give a thumbs down. You can never see who it is. It is what it is. And that's how life is. You can always expect about 50% of the people to be in agreement with you, and probably 49-50% of the people not to be in agreement. That's just life. Not everyone will give a thumbs down. So I don't, if I got 25 thumbs up and 1 or 2 thumbs down, it's not the end of the world. At least most of the people agree with me. And that's kind of how I look at it. It doesn't bother me. But I have friends of mine that'll get 1 or 2 thumbs down, and it's like the end of the world. It's like, dude, you got another 30 thumbs up. Why worry about this one person? He obviously is a troll. He's a tick or a flea that just won't leave. You can't quite get at him to get rid of him. And that's how life is. We have these things on the internet. It's a shame when I see friends that have to make it to where you can't reply to their videos anymore. They'll make a comment, you can't even reply to their comment because they're afraid of what you might say. Or they'll sadly disable their thumbs up and downs on their videos. It's a shame because some troll came in and abused it, so now they can't trust anyone to rate their video, which is sad. So that person in the end loses because it's nice to see I go on and see what my friends like. Oh wow, there's a video, I didn't know that guy made a new video. I'm glad that he likes it. Let me go check it out. And I'll watch it, and I'll usually like it too. So the overall sense of entitlement, you'll see it in forums on Facebook, Twitter, definitely on YouTube, is sad. I don't like this entitled mindset that people have today, and this not just with gamers, it's with cars and everything else too. But anyway, that's one of my other pet peeves. I have one last one. Number 16 is texting. Constant texting. My daughter is famous for this, God love her. And I think the world of her. And that's how she feels comfortable communicating. I'm not going to argue with her. I don't insist that she call me. But it's like, I have a hard time. I can't see it. I got to stop, put my reading glasses on, and read a text. I got to sit there and then type buttons. Oh shit, I got to back up. How do I go back? And oh, I forgot to capitalize this. I'm spending 20 minutes fine-tuning a 2-sentence text when I could just pick the phone up and just get it out. Dude, what's up? What's happening? The texting drives me nuts. My nephew's another one. He texts and texts. You go to call him, you can't get a hold of him. They screen their calls. They won't call you back. Texting is more important. It drives me crazy. My wife will text me during the day. Now, sometimes, and obviously, she's at work. She can't be on the phone all day. That's fine. There's a time and a place for texting. I text her as well. I don't want to disrupt her day when she's working. If she wants to call me and she can get away from, if it's not busy and she wants to call, I answer the phone. My phone is available. Sometimes I screen my calls, especially at night if I've been drinking or something. I don't want to answer my phone all the time. But I will always call someone back. Just leave a message. I'll call you back. I miss phone conversations. Used to be able to just call a friend. Hey, I wonder how my old friend back in Portland, Maine's doing. You pick up the telephone, you call him, and you just talk for an hour or two and have a great time. Today, no one wants to call. Everything has to be text or via texting, which drives me crazy. When you could just pick the phone up and and you could hear the enthusiasm on the other end of the phone. There's no wondering if is that sarcasm? Was he being sarcastic? No, what did he mean there? Because not everyone uses the proper punctuation or grammar or capitalization, so even that in and of itself is an irritant to me, because I try to be correct with it. I'm the type where I'll stop and back up and fix my text to make sure everything is punctuated properly and capitalized, but that's just me. my contractions are put in there, everything. I mean, the texting today is out of control. But anyway, that's my 16 pet peeves, and believe me, I could probably think of another 16. I had to do this response, Dave. It was such a great question, kind of a question that you posited out there. What are the things that irritate the hell out of you? So anyway, here's mine. That's my video response. Thanks, guys, for watching. Thanks for putting up with my long-winded frustrations with life. I don't let any of these things really get to me, but they're things that in my subconscious do bother me, and I know they actually bother a lot of you. So anyway, thanks for watching. Enjoy life. Enjoy your films, your favorite movies with your favorite spouse or loved one or friend. That's what it's all about.